Hey you guys, it's Natalie Butler, and so I am recording today's video because we had a little bit of a technical glitch last night. I don't know where the video went, but because I want to see you guys kill it, crush it on Pinterest, I am recording this video today, and I'm going to hear all about your success. So I am also going to cover the questions that were asked during last night's video, and I also want to thank everybody for tuning in live. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys so much for having me. So to give a little bit of a background story, you guys, when it came to Pinterest, I was not the Pinterest person. I saw it as another platform, and then even when I tried to get on the platform, it was so confusing that I was like, no, I just don't want to deal with this. I'm just gonna leave. And so if you are feeling that very same way, don't worry. I felt that same way, and you can still get results as well. So it's gonna take a little bit of a learning curve, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. So one day I was looking for ways to get more views onto my blog, and so many people were talking about, oh, you should be on Pinterest, you need to get on Pinterest. So I was like, okay, well, let me try this out. So I went to Pinterest and I pinned just one pin for my blog, and I was like, you know what, this is too confusing because I never used Pinterest. I wasn't interested in the DIYs, I wasn't interested in the recipes or anything like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back over to Facebook, Instagram, things where it's simple, right? I just saw all of those pictures and I just felt so overwhelmed. Now, one day I was looking at my analytics for my blog to see where the traffic was coming in from. And to my surprise, that one pin that I made was still generating traffic to my blog 2 years later. 2 years, you guys. So I was like, wait a minute, maybe it's something to this Pinterest thing. So I started to really learn about it and learn how it was different from the other social media platforms. So for an example, a post has a typical half-life or a shelf life of usually a day or less than a day on Facebook or Instagram, right? So this is how long it stays in the actual news feed. So it's less than a day on Facebook or Instagram. It's a matter of minutes when it comes to Twitter, because so many people are tweeting so fast, right? But it's actually 4 months on Pinterest. So I was like, whoa, this sounds like we're working smarter and not harder. So I was like, let me definitely look into this now. And like I said, that pin itself was generating 2 years later for my business. So, and I'm going to share with you some things that I've learned, some things that really help me out and get the results that I'm getting on Pinterest. And the first thing that we want to talk about is, what is Pinterest, okay? So a lot of people like to group them together, and they want to say that they're all social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I'm going to put Pinterest off to the side because how it functions is completely separate, and it's not like a social media platform. It's actually a search engine. So once you have that in mind, I want you to change how you look at Pinterest. I want you to change how you use Pinterest. It is a visual search engine. It is a discovery tool, okay? So people are coming to Pinterest and they're looking for something specifically. So if you are not like me and you're actually using Pinterest and you love Pinterest, you know that when you go to Pinterest, you're looking for something in mind, right? So in the top 3 reasons, I like to call these the 3 I's, why people use Pinterest is they're looking for either an idea, they're looking for inspiration, or they're looking for information. So I'm going to repeat that. Idea, inspiration, or information. So an idea, if they're trying to plan things, if they're trying to visually get things down, pack what they're trying to do, how they're trying to make the office look, or how they're trying to plan an event. Inspiration. People love to feel inspired. People love to feel happy. And information. This is where they're looking for a specific solution to their problem. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in and position ourselves as the solution. And this is going to be so easy. A lot of people try to overcomplicate this, but guess what? Pinterest learned that over 97% of all searches on Pinterest are unbranded. So what that means is they're not looking for a company name. They're not looking for a certain type of product. They are not even looking for a certain person. They are just simply there to find an answer to their question. So we are going to put ourselves as the answer. And when you look at Pinterest as a search engine, it's going to be a whole lot easier to do that. So now let's talk about how to make money on Pinterest. So the good news for you is it doesn't matter the amount of followers that you have. It doesn't even matter how long you've been on the Pinterest platform. Literally, you can start today and start getting results. So it doesn't matter. So don't let that discourage you. All right. So there's two ways that you can make money. So the first one is going to be with shoppable pins or shop this look. So usually what that is, and you've probably seen it already because they have a price tag associated with the pin if it's a shoppable pin, or a shop this look pin where a person has on like a certain outfit, like let's say they have on a head, a pair of glasses, a blouse, a pair of pants or some stockings or something. And what you could do is direct them to the website to purchase every single thing that that person is wearing, or you can help them come up with their own outfit. So that's one way that you can make money. Now the second way, and this is going to be the biggest way, is by generating traffic or driving traffic to your website. So one of the questions that somebody asks is, well, what if you don't have a blog? That's perfectly fine. You can drive traffic to any place that you have an online presence. So if you are selling a certain ebook, or you want a digital download, or if you have a instead of a blog, let's say you have a lead capture page or a landing page. If you have an e-commerce website, if you're a culture consultant and you want to have more people hop on your calendar, you can send them over to your appointment booking calendar. Or if you were featured on a podcast, or if you have a podcast and you want more listeners, you can take them to the podcast. Or if you are creating YouTube videos and you want more viewers on YouTube, you can take them there. Or if you have a very big following or a highly engaged following on a different social media platform and you want to take them to that platform, such as Instagram or Facebook. So anywhere that you have an URL or a website, you can take traffic there, okay? So it doesn't matter if you don't have a blog, as long as you have a URL or a website. Then a second question that came up is, well, what if you can't use the company's name or the company's replicated website in your marketing? That's fine as well. So what you want to do is make sure that you're doing something to build your own legacy. So you could, if you don't have it already, I would suggest that you create a blog or a website. They're really inexpensive. You can go to Wix or Squarespace or WordPress or any of those builders, and you can come up with a pretty decent looking blog. And it's kind of like a two-step process. So you can get them onto your blog, and then you can direct them to their e-commerce website. And you never ever have to worry about using the company's name or the product name, because guess what? People aren't looking for them anyway. Remember, 97% of the searches on Pinterest are unbranded. So they're not looking for that company by name. So there's no excuse why you shouldn't be doing this, you guys. And let's talk about how you can make money with Pinterest. Like, how can you use Pinterest for your business? So this is what I talk about. This is what I practice. This is what I preach. This is what I tell every single person, is you want to cultivate a community by curating and creating content. So I'm going to repeat that. You are going to cultivate a community by curating and creating content. So one of the mistakes I see people making is when they first get to Pinterest, it's all about their pin. So it's just my content, my content, my content, my content. Think about in terms of a conversation with somebody. If they're only talking about themselves, me, are you really interested in that conversation anymore? You start to think like, whoa, this person is self-absorbed. This person is conceited. Like, they don't care about anybody. Well, the same goes for your Pinterest platform. So Pinterest actually rewards you when you publish other people's content, because now it sees that you are interested in collaborating. You're interested in sharing. You're a team player. So as you start to curate other people's content, then guess what? You're going to build a community of people that have a certain interest. And so once you get this community of people, you're going to have the know, like, trust factor already down. So now when you publish your content, they're going to take action, and we want them to take action. So starting off, you can start with an 80-20 rule, right? 80% other people's content, 20% yours. I know it sounds very contradictory, right? Like, how am I supposed to get people on my website if I'm posting other people's stuff? And that's because when you do this, you're establishing yourself as the authority. If you could talk about multiple things, if you could actually talk about other competitors, then you sound like you know what you're talking about to other people. So they're going to look at you, and they're going to trust you, and they're going to take action. And so this should be good news too if you're just getting started with creating content and you don't have that much content. Guess what? You can fall back on other people's content. You don't have to worry about just publishing only yours, only yours, only yours, only yours. You can start to use their content and publish it, and then start to mix in your own content and start getting people to view your content as well. So first thing that we want to do is we want to actually create or convert a business account. So that was one of the questions, is should you continue to use the personal account or should you have an actual business account? So you want to have a business account. One, it just looks prettier. With your business account, when you look at the profile, you can actually change like the cover or the background image. You can have a video playing if you wanted to, or you could focus on a certain board or certain products if you wanted to, or certain posts of yours. So whatever you want to kind of give a little bit more information about yourself and your profile, this is the time where you can customize it, which you won't be able to do on a personal account. But then also there are certain features that you'll get with a business account that you won't get on a personal account. So on a business account, you'll get access to your analytics, and your analytics are very important because it's going to tell you exactly if what you're doing is working. So then you can see what pins are performing well for you. You can tell if you're driving traffic to the website, and then it also gives you insight into your audience. So that way, if you start off, if you're trying to target a certain demographic or a certain age group, Pinterest will actually tell you. So that way you know if what you're doing is actually working. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a business account. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to Pinterest is because remember, it is a search engine. You want to locate the ideal keywords that are going to bring your target audience into you. So a lot of times people mess up because they treat it like a social media website. So you'll see people with descriptions like dope, fire, this, right? You don't want to do any of that, because guess what? If that post isn't talking about fire, then it's not going to get found anyway. So you want to make sure that what you're talking about is actually bringing people in that's interested in that specific thing. So if you don't have a picture of fire, there's no reason why you should use fire. If it's, if you're not talking about this, whatever this is, right? There's no reason why that should be listed in any of your content, all right? So you want to make sure that you have located your keywords. And then talking more a little bit about keywords, you guys, is you want to make sure that it's not so generic that it has unnecessary competition. You want to make sure that you are laser focused and bringing people in specifically for that. So an example of it is hair. So I think almost everybody has hair. Like, I don't really see people like searching hair that don't have hair. So when hair comes about, that's very, very highly competitive, right? It's highly competitive. It's going to be very hard to get your content seen. However, people will be searching for summer wedding updos, or they're looking for red bob cuts, or they're looking for a wedding updo for short hair, or they're looking for different colors of hair, right? So what I like to focus on are going to be long tail keywords, and these are just 3 to 5 words that describe what that is. And this way you're not going to have so much competition by focusing only on hair, but you're going to have people that's looking for a specific part of that. And when you can do that, you're tailoring your message, you're finding your audience, and you're going to get results. So you want to make sure that you have picked out your keywords. If you need help with your keywords or any of that, you guys, you can download the free Pinterest marketing workbook, which is Pinning for Winning. I'll leave a link in the actual description of this video so you guys can go there. But now that you have your keywords, you want to optimize the following areas. So the first area that you want to optimize is your account name. So a lot of times people just want to use their name or their assumed name, but guess what? People aren't really looking for you like that, which is a good thing, because now with that account name, what you can do is optimize it to include your keywords so you can bring in people that are looking for specific things. Okay, so you want to make sure that your account name is not just your name or your business name or your brand name, but you want to make sure that it gives a little bit of a description so people can search and find you, and then they can also say, hey, well, this is the type of content that I'm interested in, and they'll come back to follow you. You also want to optimize your account description. So your account description is just about you section. It's the equivalent of a bio on Instagram or a bio on Facebook. Pinterest does have a character limit, so it's going to be very short. But with that, you want to include your keywords, because people are going to see that when they see your name. And so this way they can just know what's in it for them. Like, what's in it for them to follow you? Are you going to be posting the type of content that they're interested in? So you want to make sure that you have the description optimized. Now, moving on to the boards. Remember what I said? None of that social media stuff, no fire, no dope, none of that, right? You want to make sure that your boards are also optimized with your keywords. Now, something that's going to be very important and very overlooked, and I think Pinterest can make this a little bit better, honestly. But for some reason, you cannot do this when you first create the board. You actually have to go back to edit the board, and that's to set the board category. And you really want to do this because Pinterest is going to tell people what that board is about and find people that have similar interests. So when you set the board category, you can say if it's arts and crafts, you can say if it's health and beauty, you can say if it's technology, you can say if it's education, or if this board is about products, there's actually a product category. So for people that come to Pinterest and they're looking specifically for products, they can find that board. And yes, there are people that are looking specifically for products. Remember, shoppable pins. All right, so you want to make sure that you set the board category, and you also want to make sure that you create a board description. So this just gives the audience a little bit more information about it, which could be very, very helpful if you also are focusing on certain aspects of that topic. So let's say the topic is hair, right? What if this board itself is about hairstyles for older women, or hairstyles for younger women, or hairstyles for kids, just to give them a little bit more information, and that way they can determine whether or not they want to follow you or follow that specific board. Now, when it comes to how you could actually optimize your pins. So because 80% of all people on Pinterest are using Pinterest on their cell phones, you want to have a vertical image because this is going to take up more of their screen. So Canva makes it really, really easy to create these. So I'm not going to go over the dimensions or anything like that, but you want to make sure that you have a vertical image instead of the square image that you see on Instagram or Facebook. Then what you want to do is you want to create a text overlay. So that's just words across the graphic. You can use this for product pins, or you can use this for just text pins where you're taking people directly back to your blog. And the reason why you want to do this is, remember, you have about 2 seconds to catch the audience attention. And people are on Pinterest and they have an intent and they have a purpose. So somebody that's looking for a remedy for hyperpigmentation may stop once they see your pin that says how to get rid of hyperpigmentation fast, right? So you want to make sure you have that overlay to catch their attention, and this is going to bring them in and make them want to learn more, and then they're going to click on it to learn more. Now, you want to make sure that your pin title and your pin description also have your keywords. So your title is you're telling Pinterest what this is, and the description is what it's about. So it's to give you more information. And then from that point, you want to have the keywords in there so that way people can actually see it. Remember, they're going by pretty fast. That's what we do on any social media platform, right? We want to make sure that this has some type of benefit for us in order for us to interact with it. So we just want to make sure that we have our keywords in there so that way they're clear about it, okay? And then once we do the pin graphic, the pin title, and the pin description, there's also a rich pin feature. Now, a lot of people aren't very familiar with this, but a rich pin snippet, what this does is if you have a lot of content, it kind of makes things look a little bit more organized. So if you see like a recipe, they usually have the top portion has the ingredients and the second portion has the instructions on how to make it. That's considered a rich pin. So a rich pin has a lot of information and directs people back to the blog so they can get more information. But then you can also see who's pinning what content from your blog as well. So you want to make sure that you have rich pins enabled. And last but not least, you want to make sure that you have your hashtags. So if you're on Instagram and you love hashtags, good news, you have hashtags on Pinterest as well. Now, what I would suggest is that you do not use the same hashtags on Instagram that you used on Pinterest. And the reason being is, remember, each social media platform has its purpose and it has its audience. So the hashtags that work on Instagram probably won't work on Pinterest. So you just want to make sure that they're optimized for Pinterest. And the only place that you want to put your hashtags are in the pin description, okay? So you don't want to put them in your account name. You don't want to put it in the account description. You don't want to put it in the board name. You don't want to put it in the board description. People are not going to find it, but they are going to find it in the actual pin description. So that way they can click on it and they can learn more about it. So you want to make sure that the hashtags show in the actual pin description. Now, let's talk about how to make sure that you are using Pinterest to get the traffic that you want. So one of the common mistakes that I see people making is they upload a pin and then that's just it. It's just an image. So instead of doing that, right, you want to make sure that you've optimize your pin with the keywords in your title and your description, but then also in your description, you want to have some type of call to action, because most people won't know what you want them to do. Remember, this is the first time they're meeting you. They don't know, so you can't expect them to know. So if you want them to click to learn more, if you want them to sign up for a free download, if you want them to go purchase the item, say that in the description so that way they can take action. And then make sure that you have uploaded the destination link. So you'll see this when you create a pin. It'll ask you for a destination link. That is just simply the website. This is where you want to take people to. So remember, Pinterest is so much different because it actually encourages users to leave the platform. So like Facebook, you usually get like that red box that says this website could be potentially hazardous or potentially harmful or something like that, where they try to discourage you from going off to another site. Pinterest is like, no, come over here, learn some more. So if you find this valuable, guess what? You're going to stay back on the website. You're going to come back for every single thing that you need. So you want to make sure that every single pin that you have directs them to some place of your own. So you want to be purposeful. Don't get them on the website and there's literally nothing for them to do. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. They look, learn, and leave. No, you want them to take action. And when they take action, they turn into a lead. They turn into a prospect. They turn into a customer. They turn into a client, right? So you want them to take action. Don't just drive them to a website for no reason, okay? Then let's talk about how else can Pinterest reward you. So Pinterest rewards consistency, which is really a no-brainer, because when you think about it, you're only going to get results if you're consistent. All right, so don't just pin today and then quit Pinterest and then go back to Pinterest like 6 or 12 months. Don't do what I did, okay? Because I didn't, other than that one pin, that was literally nothing, okay? So don't make that mistake that I made. You want to make sure that you are consistently on Pinterest. You don't have to spend a lot of time. You guys, I spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes on Pinterest each day. So you want to make sure that you are purposeful and you're operating with intent and purpose. So keep it short, keep it brief, and make sure that it's helping you reach your actual goal. And they're going to reward you, but then they're also going to reward you for relevancy. And so this is when you are posting pins to the relevant board, when you have relevant topics as well as relevant descriptions. So remember what I said, no fire, no dope, none of that, because Pinterest is a visual search engine. It's depending on you to tell it what that pin is, so that way it can go out and tell other people about it. So if you have a pin that is completely unrelated and is not titled properly, then Pinterest doesn't know what it's about, and Pinterest doesn't know how it can position your solution in front of other people. So you want to make sure that you're always pinning to the appropriate boards and you have the correct title and pin description. And when you're curating other people's content, when you're pinning other people's content, you want to make sure that you're doing the very same thing for them. So you don't want to just have this weird random board called other people's stuff. You want to treat it the same way you would treat your own pins. And when you do that, you're going to build a bigger audience that are going to take action. All right. And then last but certainly not least, okay, here's my little suggestion. This is what I've personally learned. If you are going to be pinning a product, right? Instead of focusing on the product name, you want to focus on the product benefits. Because remember, nobody's looking for it by name. They haven't even heard of it. So they're not going to be looking for a product named acne, acne, acne. But they will be looking for a solution on how to cure acne. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be looking for how to get rid of acne fast. Or if you are in the makeup industry, right? Let's say you want to give people an idea. Remember the 3 I's: ideas, inspiration, and information. So let's say you want to give people an idea, so this way they can kind of think about all of the different looks that they could create with a certain palette. They're probably not looking for the palette, so instead what you could do is tell people or describe what they're actually seeing. So it could be a red smoky eye or a gold cut crease, or it could be wedding makeup, natural makeup, or it could be like Valentine's Day makeup, right? These are things that people are going to be searching. So when you're doing this, you always want to think like, are people looking for this? Are people actually searching for this? So sometimes you have to put your personal to the side, right? I know there's like a hard transition if you are a big Pinterest user, right? You want to put that to the side and you want to be thinking, like, are people searching this? And if so, then you want to make sure that you are optimizing your pins and your content to actually bring them back and get the answer that they're looking for. So those are my Pinterest tips. I hope that helps you guys. Once again, if you need any other help, feel free to download the free workbook at pinningforwinning.com. Description will also be in this video. And thank you guys so much for having me. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.